Right now, on to the point. A family hit during a police chase, hospitalized for months.
My ears were ringing. I looked up, the whole roof of the car's gone, the side of the car's gone.
What they want to see changed. Emergency room patients left in beds and wheelchairs. Manteca's mayor sending a message saying it's time for better care. And the new monument at the state capitol just unveiled, paying tribute to Native Americans. Good evening, this is To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. It's amazing anyone is alive. A Roseville police chase coming to a dramatic end. A couple hit head on during the pursuit, was hospitalized for months. And now they're calling for change, suing the police department, claiming policy was violated. Our Jeannie Nguyen shares their story tonight.
Which car is over there?
It was just another normal October day in 2022 for Shannon Killian, his stepdaughter Ryan, and his girlfriend Gianna. Their security camera even capturing their morning routine.
Gianna was putting her keys from locking the house up into her purse.
But within minutes of leaving their Citrus Heights home,
We went to go to basically where Roseville and Citrus Heights, the border right there. And just out of nowhere, this truck just, it was instant.
Roseville police say officers were trying to stop a stolen truck when the driver sped off. As officers continued the chase, the driver crashed into Killian and his family on Roseville Road.
My ears were ringing. I looked up, the whole roof of the car's gone, the side of the car's gone. Gianna was hanging out of the car. Ryan was lifeless.
According to Roseville Police's policy, vehicle pursuits should be terminated if it is a hazard to uninvolved bystanders or motorists, and if the pursuit poses a danger to the public. The family's attorney believes this policy was violated.
This was a situation that was an avoidable accident, actually should have never happened. There's certain policies that are in place for the Roseville Police Department that we feel were just disregarded.
And because of that, they are now suing the department.
He didn't go lights and sirens. He did not try to effect a stop with the suspect. The truck that had the suspect in it was traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. Roseville Road is a 50-mile-an-hour zone.
Even though Killian and his family feel fortunate to have survived, the injuries will last a lifetime.
Gianna, she broke everything on her right side all the way down. Literally everything. They removed her spleen. My leg was broke. There was an obvious deformity to the leg.
And 5-year-old Ryan's life was forever changed.
She can't walk. She's being fed through a G-tube. If there is a policy in place, I hope it's followed. I feel something went wrong. I really do.
Hard to see those images, Jeannie. Jeannie joining us now. Now, the family is accusing the Roseville Police Department of not following their own policy. What does the department have to say about that?
Well, Alex, a Roseville Police Department spokesperson would not comment on this story, and it's still unclear if the officer involved in this chase is still employed with the department. Now, as for the man that they were pursuing, he also did survive this crash.
All right, Jeannie, and this is something that we will be following. And right now, Turlock police are investigating a deadly hit and run. It happened just before 6 Monday night along West Christopherson Parkway. Police say 33-year-old Shane Hurst was hit and killed while walking his bicycle home. Witnesses described the vehicle that hit him as a light-colored Hummer, possibly between 2003 and 2009 model years. Please call Turlock Police if you have any information. With the holiday season among us, safety is a top priority when out and about. Sacramento police say they will be increasing patrols in the old Sacramento area after a stabbing last week. And this will include adding specialty units in the area. Tonight, a man is calling on the California Department of Fish and Wildlife after he was attacked by 2 otters at Serene Lakes. Matt Leffers has scars from the traumatic attack back in September. He says he was taken to the hospital with about 40 puncture wounds. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife says that they are aware of the incident. They have put trail cameras up and they are monitoring the otters. The mayor of Manteca is sending a message saying that it's time for Kaiser, one of the city's main hospitals, to expand. He even joined concerned citizens at a news conference and protest. He says patients are being left in hospital beds and wheelchairs in the hallways of emergency rooms. Anchor Chris Thomas has the story.
I'm looking for real expansion because the waiting times in ER are unfortunately horrendous in this community. And at the same time, I've heard from multiple constituents at this point that have said that the services are not available there, and it's not necessarily the staff's fault. It's just that they are overwhelmed with the amount of individuals coming in, and then they have to be transferred to our neighboring cities such as Modesto and Stockton.
Kaiser released this statement saying they are proud to be part of Manteca and fully committed to meeting the healthcare needs of the community today and well into the future. They say they will continue to seek out Mayor Singh to ensure he's aware of the ongoing work Kaiser Permanente is doing to expand their high-quality care in Manteca, including planning for an expansion of the emergency department.
But my main concern is when am I going to actually start seeing some action and, foot on the ground and actually see some stuff going on at our facility, not just, I don't want to just talk about it anymore.
Kaiser says despite the acute shortage of healthcare workers, they are recruiting and welcoming talented people to join the workforce and relieve their teams. We're committed to providing a safe, inclusive, and equitable environment for our patients, members, employees, physicians, and for the community we serve.
Chris Thomas joining us now. And Chris, we want to be very clear. The mayor does want to work with Kaiser to make this situation better, right?
Yeah, he says he's not trying to call out anybody. As a matter of fact, he says he's been a Kaiser patient all his life. He's really just looking for results. And I do want to show you this. Kaiser released this 2-page statement saying they plan to invest more than $30 million in the area over the next 2 years alone. And so the mayor is saying, well, let's take action now. If there's any red tape in the way, he wants to try and remove that. They are planning to meet in the coming days, and we're going to be tracking this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Chris, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us tonight. All right, coming up onto the point, as the Israel-Hamas war marks 1 month, the local call to action to stop anti-Semitic incidents.
And I'm tracking the remnants of our latest storm moving off to the east here. What's ahead for tonight and more storms in the 10-day forecast.
And later, a new Native American statue unveiled in Sacramento. A look at the history and significance.
Now, school-aged children and even adults visiting the Capitol will be able to see a California Indian person and start to ask the question, what's the true history?
Downtown Sacramento is getting ready for winter holidays. The ice rink will be open tomorrow with $2 admission. After that, regular admission is $15 and $8 for kids 6 and under. The rink is located at 7th and K Streets, and it's open tomorrow at the public at 2 p.m. Are you going to go, Monica?
Well, what's interesting is that many kids have the day off on Friday for observance of Veterans Day.
Oh, that's
right.
So I'm thinking
this is perfect timing. Go to the ice rink. Have something for the kids to do, right?
Oh, that's awesome thought.
I'm not much of an ice skater. I may be an observer, not a participant, but we are looking at what feels like winter-like weather. Snow showers starting to taper off right now, and clear skies generally overhead for tonight as that storm system moves off to the east. Behind it, the next one in line, and that one brings us a slight chance of showers again by late Thursday. Temperatures overall have started on that cooling trend, and even colder weather ahead in our long-range forecast. Overnight low forecast is 45 degrees. That's right about on target, but just off to the west of us, we have that frost advisory in effect for parts of Lake County. That's just a hint of what's to come. Cold air moving in, mountain lows in the teens, valley lows in the 30s for Thursday morning. Icy spots on the roads, especially for the higher elevations, and then more snow in store next week. We're at that point in the season where we start to look at that burn status. Illegal to burn tomorrow for Sacramento County, San Joaquin and Stanislaus County, burning discouraged. Overall, we're going to see some dry weather for the midweek outlook. Here comes that next storm system. That is due in very early on Friday with a slight chance of a quick passing shower. Opening up the storm door, though, for more systems due in next week. Highs for tomorrow in the 40s for the Sierra, 60s down low for the foothills. Across the coast, we're in the 60s with 70s as we start to head inland. A very fall-like feel in the forecast tomorrow for our midweek outlook. There's that slight chance for some showers early Friday, then dry for the weekend. But big changes ahead next week. In fact, we've got cooler weather, more rain, and more snow for the Sierra.
Next, the issue of gun rights back before the U.S. Supreme Court. It's now been 1 month since Hamas attacked Israel, and the death toll in Gaza is rising. Tensions are also high at home. Ines de la Cuerta has the latest from the war zone.
Exactly 1 month ago, Hamas militants stormed across Israel's southern border with Gaza, killing more than 1,400 people there, according to Israeli authorities. Military officials also saying Hamas has taken more than 200 people hostage. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling this a day of mourning. And around the country, Israeli citizens paused to remember the victims of the terror attack.
Well, I believe in the Israelis, and we will grow, and we will overcome all this disaster.
Meanwhile, Israel's Defense Forces military campaign against Hamas grinds on, smoke rising over Gaza as bombs are dropped from Israel's air assault. The IDF releasing footage, it says, shows troops destroying tunnels built by Hamas in northern Gaza. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, more than 10,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza during the conflict, while more than 25,000 have been injured. Displaced Gazans seen heading south on foot, trying to flee Israel's aerial attacks.
We are civilian. We love to peace from our country, from our land. What do you want us to do?
Family members of the more than 200 hostages believed to be held by Hamas trying to keep their loved ones at the forefront.
My father has been kidnapped and is held hostage by Hamas. We know that he was injured. He's 83 years old. We don't know where he is.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ABC News he is open to small pauses in the fighting to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, but that he would only consider a ceasefire if all of the hostages are released. Ines de la Cuerta, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Tonight, the California Legislative Jewish Caucus is calling on the University of California president and California State University chancellor to counter the wave of anti-Semitic incidents sweeping their campuses. It comes after 2 recent incidents in Davis where an anti-Semitic symbol was spray painted on a wall, and a UC Davis assistant professor made a social media post threatening Zionist journalists and their children. In Los Angeles, a Jewish man died after a confrontation during dueling protests over the Israel-Hamas war. Paul Kessler died after a reported physical altercation. A medical examiner says an autopsy found Kessler died from a blunt force head injury and that injuries were consistent with a fall. It's unclear if a hit to the face caused his fall or not. No arrests have been made, but there is a suspect. Investigators say he stayed at the scene and told officers he called 911. In Washington tonight, police say a man with a gun has been arrested near the U.S. Capitol. They say he was tasered after being told to stop. This is the second incident in the last 3 days involving a firearms arrest near the Capitol. And the issue of gun rights is back before the U.S. Supreme Court. The court heard oral arguments over a 30-year-old law that bans people under domestic violence restraining orders from possessing firearms. So the High Court taking up the case 1 year after a ruling by the conservative majority on the court made it difficult for more governments to restrict individual gun rights. The Fifth Circuit Court struck down the law earlier this year, calling it an outlier, which led the Supreme Court to take it up. But several conservative justices worry the law could deprive nonviolent Americans of their gun rights.
There are situations in which the family court judge, who has to act quickly and may not have any investigative resources, faces a he said, she said situation.
The Fifth Circuit ruled in favor of Zaki Rahimi, a Texas drug dealer who was indicted for gun possession in violation of a restraining order obtained by his girlfriend. The FBI says the law blocked 77,000 attempted purchases of guns by domestic abusers since 1998. The justices are expected to hand down their opinion in June. ABC 10 is celebrating Native American Heritage Month. The Native American monument depicting Miwok leader William Franklin was unveiled today. And tonight, our Candace Red looks at Franklin's contributions and why this part of a wider effort to honor the true history of Native Americans.
For the first time, a monument honoring California Native Americans stands in Capitol Park in Sacramento.
It's significant for us because representation matters.
A ceremony was held Tuesday for the bronze sculpture of William Bill Franklin.
Because of the works of him, my people have their culture to carry on.
Bill Franklin represents the best to be found among California Native Americans.
Jesus Tarango is with Wilton Rancheria. It's the only federally recognized tribe in Sacramento County. He says Franklin dedicated his life to reviving traditional Miwok and Nisinan songs and dances.
He was my captain of our dance group, and so as a child, he was our leader.
Franklin fought to restore indigenous people's rights to human remains and cultural items.
I know my grandfather would be very proud and to represent Native Americans for California, but I think he'd be more proud the fact that Native Americans are being recognized now.
But we're here because of the resiliency of our elders.
Assemblymember James Ramos is the only California Native American serving in the state's legislature. He helped pass legislation to create this monument.
Now school-age children and even adults visiting the Capitol will be able to see a California Indian person and start to ask the question, what's the true history?
The monument replaces the statue of Junipero Serra.
We're bringing to light the true injustice that has happened against California Indian people.
Serra was a Spanish Franciscan priest and missionary. He came to the New World in 1749 to force Native people to convert to Christianity. Historians say the mission period overseen by Serra involved the enslavement and genocide of indigenous people.
A lot of people from Indian reservations, when we went to schools, we were forced to make and build missions to learn about the missions and the Spanish exploration. But we're never able to tell the true story from the Indian perspective of that history and the treatment towards California's first people, which was horrid.
Peter Burnett was elected California's first governor in 1849. He fueled the enslavement and genocide of indigenous people.
The first governor in the state of California put out bounties on Indian people, paid for with taxpayers' dollars, militias in the state of California that then was reimbursed by the federal government to form militias with the sole purpose of ridding and going out and killing Indian people here in the state of California.
John Sutter enslaved indigenous people, forcing them to build Sutter's Fort in 1840.
It's that history that needs to be taught so that other people could understand why Native people feel the way we feel.
California formally apologized to Native Americans in 2019.
I'm sorry on behalf of the state of California.
When you talk about injustices, the Native American people have always been at the forefront of that injustice.
In 2020, several statues in Sacramento were removed, like John Sutter, Junipero Serra, and the Christopher Columbus and Queen Isabella statues.
Find out about those people and then find out what are they being replaced with and what's the significance behind that.
Sacramento City Unified School District renamed Sutter Middle School to Miwok Middle School earlier this year. Peter Burnett Elementary is now Suyu Elementary. Suyu is the Miwok name for a hawk.
When you have the school name changes, it at least gives me hope that people are wanting to have that conversation about what really took place then.
It's about coming full circle and acknowledging a horrid past so that true healing can take place here in the state of California.
And the state is doing more to teach Native American history. Governor Gavin Newsom signed laws to promote teaching the history in schools. And it's the season for giving. Thousands of people in our area go to bed every night not knowing where their next meal will come from. ABC 10 and Wells Fargo are teaming up for Stand Against Hunger. Now through December 17th, the Stand Against Hunger campaign is raising money for 7 local food banks. And for a list of all those food banks and how you can help, you can text the word hunger to 916-321-3310. Next, how communities are rebuilding 5 years after the Camp Fire. Tomorrow marks 5 years since the Camp Fire. It remains the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California's history. 85 people died. The towns of Paradise and Concal were destroyed. As the recovery process continues, first responders still question, could they have done more?
there's only one way in and one way out of that area. So you're trying to get all sorts of equipment into the area while at the same time getting everybody out of the area. So when you have a fire that's growing like that with winds that are that high and fire spreading the way it did, I think we did the best that we were able.
About 2,500 homes have been rebuilt in the last 5 years, and there is still a lot more to be done. So be sure to join us right here on ABC 10 tomorrow. We'll have live team coverage from Paradise, remembering the victims of the fire and looking at how communities are rebuilding. We will have an in-depth report right here tomorrow at 6:30 on To the Point. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.